And welcome back to the week of Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from Katrina, and I think it might be Poe or Pro Maker. I kind of butchered the writing when I wrote it down in the book. Who asked the question, who won a fight, John Constantine or Pinhead? So Pinhead, I can't remember his original name. Pinhead's one who's been on the channel a lot, but in terms of the very, very specific details of his backstory, for example, like his human name before he was a Cenobite. I can never remember that, but he was, I believe, a German colonel or captain. He was a German military individual who found the lament configuration. Okay, Penraiser, Hell Priest, Cenobite. Where is his actual okay. Roll. Oh, capturing Kirsty. Nope. Third film actually altered the origin concept, making him purely evil demonic being. Well, okay, so apparently he got his backstory did get altered a little bit. Okay, all right, there it is. All right, so he was back in the day. Elliot Spencer was born in England during the Victoria era of 1987. He served in the war in France in World War I. During the World War I, he served as a captain. He was charismatic and eloquent and could feel great empathy and compassion for those around him. However, after participating in one of the battles of Flanders, he lost faith in humanity after witnessing inhuman acts. He also loses his faith in God, with whom he believed failed mankind. Captain Spencer did not believe he had the right to live, watching many of the comrades perish, suffering from severe effects of post-traumatic stress disorder. And the delusioned and jaded Spencer wander the earth, indulging in hedonistic lifestyles, turning to the baser method of gratification of satisfaction and pleasure, until finding the lament configuration, and, well, you know how that song and dance goes. Pinhead is often considered the grand priest of the Cenobites. He is a Cenobite of the Order of Gash. I have no idea how many orders there are. I'm not big into Hellraiser. I've learned a lot more about it doing this channel, but I'm not. I've never been a huge Hellraiser fan. I like it more than, say, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I know they're kind of two different things, like very different. But in terms of like those horror icons, I like it more than something like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Maybe a little bit more than Child's Play, but Child's Play's got the camp, so it is what it is. So I'm not familiar with a lot more of that kind of lore personally. But that said, as the leader of the Cenobites, he actually has a multitude of abilities. Now I've heard a lot of people say he's like a multi-dimensional being. I have never once. I'm gonna actually just Google. Well, at least Google and people say about how strong is Pinhead, because I've never seen anything that indicates he's that powerful. How strong is Pinhead? Let's get an internet consensus on that real quick. Extreme power of being a supernatural abilities, preferred method of attack. Okay, that's not really. How strong is Pinhead lore wise? Okay, so lore wise, allegedly. He is a supernatural being, a willing servant of the Lovecraftian ability, the entity itself. Compared to most of the killers, he's not just in their league, he's downright playing by different rules. Beyond that, it's hard to say. He's basically up there with how people see and view Pyramid Head. That's not to say he could take on the entity directly, because honestly, I think that beyond any of the killers or survivors, he's of the kind of level of power set, though, where he could easily be considered one of those entities' controls. Okay, that doesn't really give him much. Lore-wise, he could defeat any of the other killers in a 1v1. That man fights demons and hell and wins. I'm really not getting much here. This is just a lot of people's opinions. Let's see here. Apparently, someone on August 18, 2001 says he's capable of world-ending power on his own, as we see in Hellraiser 3. Which, to be fair, let's see, how powerful is it? He's functionally immortal as long as he's in the Leviathan's favor. However, if some force removes the Leviathan's dark blessings, he is as mortal as any other human. So, okay, so it does seem like he may have some world-ending power, despite how I've made him out before in the past. But it's apparently very nebulous. Hellraiser 3. Give me a second here. Hellraiser 3. Hellraiser. And, normally I go into, like, okay, so while I'm looking shit up here, do we have the film? Okay, Hellraiser 3? Oh, no, God, no. Hellraiser 2, Hell on Earth. Okay. Is learned his reversion to his human form cause the negative attributes of himself to manifest, blah, blah, blah. Takes the form of Pinhead. Without his human half, the new incarnation of Pinhead is unbound by the laws of the Cenobite. Okay, all right, hold on right there. That's a big... Someone said that he's got world-ending power in Hellraiser 3 on his own. But taking the human part out of him is a big caveat you left out of that statement. I hate how fandom cherry picks shit just to prove their point. I love fandom and I hate it all at once. I hate how people cherry pick shit. Now, granted, I do that occasionally too, but I do it without thinking most of the time. Someone kind of brought up how I downplayed Stitch in my prediction for Rocket versus Stitch. And I agree. I did downplay him. I completely acknowledge that. That said, Rocket I still think is going to win. Because that Thanos gun was never used. If there was on a weakened Thanos, it's like, a weakened Thanos is still a million times stronger than Stitch. Don't use that argument. I digress. So, yeah, but I hate how people cherry it. The Pinhead they were clearly talking about here didn't have his human half. Most of the time when we're talking about Pinhead, we are talking about the human half of Pinhead. Or, excuse me, Pinhead with his human half. After being trapped in a form, carved within Spencer, however, managed to escape limbo with the help of Joey Summers' skill. Stops Pinhead by remerging with him. This binds the fire and flame in Pinhead and like event configuration once more. Yeah, no, see, you can't use... Pinhead generally has his human half in there as well. You can't cherry pick a scenario like that. Now, I can discuss a scenario after we go with main canon's Pinhead, but you can't do that. So, hypothetically, if he doesn't have his human half, then you can talk about more world-ending apocalyptic power. On his own, though, Pinhead is still extremely powerful. Because while he's a bit more, certainly more vulnerable to attacks, harm, all that, he's also has a wide variety of abilities. One of his famous is something the giant hook changed to hurt, butcher, tear apart people. Beyond that, though, he's actually capable of things. He's generally invulnerable, ageless and immortal, capable of teleportation, magically disguising himself as other people. Obviously, the hook change are a big thing. And I've looked into this before. Apparently, the Celobites do have a level of pyrokinesis too. I never knew that, but they do have. They do have apparently a level of pyrokinesis to them, which is a big thing. Now, in general, in his world, the only thing that can really his only real weakness lies in the same thing that summoned him, the lament configuration, which he could be sealed back in and sent back to hell. However, before anyone just gives me the whole ritual chud argument, like with Pennywise, which people have done before, what your weakness is in one world does not translate if you're thrown into other worlds. Because there are beings in multiple continuities, DC alone, who would thrash Pinhead. And I'm not even talking about John Constantine yet. And I'm not even saying John Constantine well. I'm just saying, not even taking John in consideration, I could think of 10 people off the top of my head right now, probably, who could thrash Pinhead. Thrash him. Honestly, any deity-level figure in the DC universe could thrash Pinhead. Any deity-level figure. That includes a dark side, any of the All-Fathers, any of the literal Greek, Norse, any other pantheon that has shown up in the Marvel Universe. No joke, Superman could probably thrash him, although because Pinhead's abilities are a bit more magical-based, he could certainly hurt Superman, but Superman could thrash him. Wonder Woman could thrash him. Martian Manhunter might be wary about going in his mind, could probably thrash him. Doomsday would thrash him. The Flash moves so fast, he would thrash him. Pinhead is not the top dog once you throw him out of his own universe. He just isn't. So, with that said, is John one of those guys who could thrash him? Thrash is not a good term. I do not think he would thrash him. John Constantine, we know, is a spiritualist, an exorcist, a con man, and an all-around bugger of a man. He's constantly playing angles, kind of just trying to live his own life, but at the same time, kind of forced into this world of supernatural monsters and demons and ghosts and ghouls and gods. And he's just trying to make his way in there, help people when he can. But man, he's just that fun, lovable douche that we love, that we hate at the same time. I love and hate all at once, just because of the shit he has to go through and the shit he's done. But he's capable of multiple. He's capable of multiple things. He's capable of casting illusions so grand he was able to fool Darkseid, which is no small feat. A master of exorcism, master of just constantly. He's conned the devil on multiple occasions. He is that good at what he does. Different as we've seen, especially in the animated stuff, he can do different magics as long as so much as it suits him. Again, but his greatest ability though is his intelligence, his ability to con. There's one comic where him and I don't know if it was actually the devil, but a demon of some kind were sitting there. He had turned like a pool into beer, and they were just drinking together. And then he basically said, "Yeah, by the way, it was holy water." And then he just burned him from the inside because all the beer he drank turned into holy water. So ultimately, John Constantine is an extremely capable individual, but he's still human. Is the problem? He's still got all the vulnerabilities of human. He's not like Lex, who can survive going into the source wall. No, he can have his mind warped. When in the Sandman comic, famously, when him and Morpheus are going about, he opens that door, and the sand, which had been let loose, caused him to go nearly insane because it just wasn't, his mind wasn't prepped for it. So he's still extremely vulnerable. He also just doesn't give a crap about his own life, really. I mean, he chain smokes constantly. The whole plot point in the movie Constantine was taken from another comic, a strip where, yeah, he only had so much time to live. He was given another chance. In the movie, he's now chewing gum instead of smoking. But in the comic, he just goes right back to chain smoking again. Like, he just does not give a shit. So the question would be, is John capable of beating out what really would be outsmarting Pinhead? And honestly, probably. The lament configuration is open. Whether or not Constantine is the one who opened the lament configuration, you take your pick. But more than likely what would be happening is that a group of people open the lament configuration, and he could tell something was going on with, this supernatural aura in like his vicinity. He goes and investigates, finds people getting butchered, slaughtered, and then, comes across this Pinhead as he's, about to like torture one of his last victims. And he's like, hold it right there, Pinhead. And he's like, you know me? No, I don't fucking know you. No, you're just making fun of your face. And who exactly are you? You did not open the lament configuration. And John's got enough knowledge that he may have at least heard of the lament configuration. But he's probably never actually seen it. And so this is the lament configuration. He sees the lament configuration. So this is the bloody thing. I've heard rumors about it. Nothing good. Pandora's box in actuality. And what do you know of it? What do you know of pain and suffering? I have seen things you can't possibly imagine. What, people flayed? John starts listing things he's actually seen off, and Pinhead, I think, would actually be like, It's like, yeah, I've been around the block before, Pinhead. I've seen a few things. Unfortunately, I can't say I'm a big fan of your kind of work, but it is what that is what it is. And all of a sudden, John feels chains coming in, so he can actually put up magical barriers to stop the chains. I see you are no stranger to the supernatural or magic. Well, like I said, I've seen a thing or two, been around the block, but the question is, but I can't say I've ever encountered something quite like you. Not exactly demon, but definitely not human. We are the Celobites, and we serve the Leviathan. The great lament configuration is our key and our prison, all in one. We will bring hell to this world and punish and show those the true pleasure of existence. Interesting. Interesting. Well, I can't have that happen. And then, he tries to attack Pinhead. And he managed to actually hit him. It's like, ah! It's like, bloody hell! Bloody hell! Just grabs him. You're joking. And just tosses Constantine out. Fuck! And Constantine's now got pins in his hand. He's now got a hook that is in his eye. Ah! It's like, one hook at a time, Constantine. Yeah, I'll show you something you've never seen before. Yeah, well, before you do that, mate, you might want to check your side. And he put some sort of whatever relic it would be. John's got God knows how many of them. And all of a sudden, the chain kind of crumbs like, what is this? And he just tries to grab it. It's like, your faith means nothing. Why can I not remove this? Who said anything about faith, mate? That's an ancient war passed down by some people from this myth. It's perfectly in tune to counter the most malevolent of evils. Of course, the only thing is, it has a tendency of burning a bit too much. And normally, it's just used to ward off the evils. But with something like you, it's gonna be a bit more painful. And Pinhead just starts to burn, like, or he just starts like kind of burn up, like, you throws the chain, just starts evaporating. And yeah, but don't worry, that's not how I'm taking you down, mate. And all of a sudden, I'm a bit more Australian with my John Con. Well, the problem is I believe he's like supposed to be like, I think he's like Liverpool, is that right? His Brit is very close to an Australian whenever I hear it. The problem is also the term mate is in both like British slang and Australian slang, so that's part of the problem. Constantine, John Constantine. Let me see here. Constantine. I'll call Liverpool. I was dead on Liverpool. Yeah. Ha! Yeah. It's like, sorry, mate, but I don't have time to be dealing with you. And so he starts performing basically an exorcism. I am not some human possessed by a demon. I am something entirely different. I know, that's why I'm not exorcising your soul from your body. I'm exorcising you from this world. And all of a sudden, the Celobites show up, but they can't really do anything just due to the ward or whatever, because this is Constantine versus Pinhead. Pinhead starts trying burning John. He's like, oh, bloody hell! It's just, yeah, you will. If I burn, you burn as well. And he starts burning, but John finishes the incantation, and he and Pinhead, along with all the other Celobites, go back into the lament configuration. So, yeah, John would not have an easy time with Pinhead, but he's fought individuals far worse than Pinhead, is the thing. And so he would probably have the best knowledge of how to counter something like Pinhead, more so than anything else. Granted, Pinhead's something unique compared to other things in the DC world, Hellraiser, but I think John wouldn't have too much difficulty. He might get a little effed up doing it, but he'd probably be able to exercise, unsummon, decat, whatever you want to call it, send him away to wherever he needs to go, and send him back to hell. In theory, could John actually kill him? That's a big question. Because as long as he's in the Leviathan's favor, no. He is functionally immortal in the Leviathan's favor. But if you were to theoretically fall out of the Leviathan's favor, which John, in theory, could figure out a way to work given enough time, then, yeah, he could kill Pinhead. In fact, he could kill Pinhead pretty easy, I think. But without that, he could probably defeat him without too much difficulty, I think. Anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Who you got in this fight? I know I'm going to get flack one way or the other. And I'll see you next time.